So we are live here on Facebook, and we are live here on YouTube, and we're live here on Instagram, baby.
Yeah,
we're going crazy today. We're live on everything. Soon we will become alive. Be careful. Anyways, this year
so far all zombies killed.
is sponsored in honor of the victims of the evil holiday that's killed thousands. Taking away their jobs. I have so many friends who came to work today and it was closed. But don't worry about that. Happy New Year anyways. Because anyways, Judaism believes in New Year. Actually, we have a thing called Rosh Hashanah, and we believe in the Gentile New Year. Actually, if you look in the Torah, there's many verses where the solar calendar applies as well as the lunar calendar. So the Berditchever Rebbe used to say Happy New Year. The Rebbe used to say Happy New Year. Everybody says Happy New Year. So just because you think it's a Gentile New Year doesn't make it not for everybody. It's for everybody. Don't worry about it. Okay, this year was sponsored by S&M Bench's Bike Man, the guy who does the deliveries. He actually sponsored this entire year. His name is Yeshua Durkin, single and available.
Works for them now.
He works for them. He moved. Also sponsored by Mordechai, who works for the OU. Mordechai Bruno. I think he works for the Triangle K, no, Star K or OU, one of those things. Thank you to you. And co-sponsored by me. I picked it up. So I think I get a credit for that. Anyways.
It's in my house.
It's in your house.
And it's in Rabbi Friedman's house.
It's in Rabbi Friedman's house.
We just had something called Nittelnacht last night. Nittelnacht is a day where used to be a day where people used to get attacked. It was a Christian holiday. Originally, after they would have big sermons, and after the sermons, they would go and massacre the Jewish community.
Can I get a little fries?
Now, of course, the Christians have become our allies, so we love them and we appreciate their support of Israel, and we don't have anything against them. But back in the day, there were some crazy people who called themselves Christians. How about that? Called themselves Christians. They might not have been Christians. And they used to give radical sermons, and they would come in and do suicide bombings almost. They'd come in and start massacring. So it was called Kristallnacht. It was called Kratzmach, whatever you called it. And the Jews would lock themselves away. So we have a tradition on that night. We play chess. And if you went to 770 last night, everybody was playing chess. We weren't hanging out in the movies. We weren't hanging out at the pubs. We were hanging out playing chess. That's what we do on our spare time. So keep playing chess, keep learning, and your brain will get smart. This week's Parsha, Shemos. We just started a new book. Without further ado, Rabbi Friedman,
Where's the
who will continue the shir. May he live forever.
Where's the third video?
Yes.
You aim it at me, you can see me.
Yeah, you can see.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, everybody can
All
see.
right.
I hope everybody sees this. And there we go.
All right, tonight, welcome to the shir. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Welcome.
The great Rav Chaim Peel. We have a full house tonight, a lot of guests. Great food, you're all welcome to come over and share this video. We want the world to keep Shabbos. I think your thing is not on a good spot. That's better. Okay. So we're learning the by David Ribia. Buy it, learn it. It's very straightforward. You can learn to keep Shabbos from this book. And right now we're in the seventh malacha, the seventh form. Anybody know what the first one is? We like to review this just to get into the... There's 11 of them all in total. To make bread, you need to do 11
grinding,
forms of work.
Sifting, grinding,
What's the first
separating.
one?
I don't know.
Get it right. Get it right.
How you make grain? You've been on a farm.
What exactly is separating?
Take away the rocks from the grain.
No,
Clean.
wheat from the
Kernels. Oh yeah.
шелка, не знаю.
You gotta take it off the top.
You gotta do something to the ground.
Oh yeah, you got plow.
You gotta plow. Chorish. That's
Okay.
number one.
Yeah. And you gotta put the seeds
Number
in.
two, you've got to plant the seeds. Zoreya.
All right.
Now, once they grow, what do?
Plant them.
You reap them. Koitzer.
That's true.
Reap them. And then once they're reaped, you got to do what? Gather them together. Mama.
Okay.
Then you thresh them, remove the big bad stuff. Then you take what's left, you throw it to the wind, and that's called winnowing, zore. And now, once you have what you want, you need to separate it further. It's called borer. Sorting. You sort out what you want. Sorting has a few characteristics that are interesting. One of them is it's done by hand, not by machine. And there are three things that you want to take out what's good from the bad, and three, you want to do it. Question: Naftali's back from Russia, having won $1 million in the Bitcoin trade.
Oh, Naftali, good job.
Actually, I made more than 50%.
How much?
But then I
50,000?
lose everything, yeah.
You made 50 grand?
50% about.
Wow.
For a couple of days. Whatever. What if it's separated or whatever by machine or not by hand?
Different type of separating. Not
Doesn't count
it's not
as-
borer.
It's not boring?
Not borer. Different thing.
So, yeah.
We'll get into that. This chapter is called Avoiding the Malacha of Borer. We will avoid it. We want to have everything working perfectly on Shabbat, so we transgress, as they say. Transgressing Shabbat carries from some pretty big penalties, whereas doing it right, the rewards are infinite. Convention. So there's three ways to get around. A practical, feasible solution for every problem. Following example. What if you have mixed cutlery in Iraq? Not Iraq. A rack of cutlery. It's all mixed up. You want certain things from there. Here's the example. A woman wishes to make her Shabbos table. However, the silk is to go to shul after the table is set. She can't set. Yeah, that's Naftali's opinion. Does anyone agree with that? Or disagree? Well, he says, however, it is possible for her to circumvent the question of borer entirely, thereby mix. She avoid the whole problem. Here's another one. Crumbs that fell into soup or drink. Removing unwanted crumbs or particles from soup or drink is prohibited because doing so constitutes removal of the pasoilus, meaning what you don't want, from the oichel, the food, what you do want. The three conditions of Bora require removal of the oichel from the pasoilus. The right way to do it is to take what you want from what you don't want, not vice versa. Nevertheless, there are permissible ways of removing the pasoilus without the need to comply with the three conditions, as will be explained below. Does anybody understand what he's talking about, or is anybody missing the point?
I'm missing the point.
You're missing the point.
Yeah.
About time.
You say it over?
Okay, let me just do the third example, and then I'll try to explain it. Well, actually, he goes on to 4 examples. Okay, you got a brown spot on an apple or a banana, right? You don't want that brown spot there. You don't
What
want
do
to
you
eat
do?
that.
Cut that piece off, right?
Right.
So you
That's
want to
separate.
avoid borer, right? You don't want to. If you cut that
No,
piece
it's
off by
exactly
itself, you're taking the bad from the good.
You're taking away the bad of the apple and you're eating only the good parts. So now you're separating on Shabbat. So are you allowed to do that?
So what we're trying to learn in this chapter is how to avoid all of that.
No, on Shabbat.
Depends how you do it.
It
there any more
depends how you do
pizza
it.
Yep.
I have
Any more
a big
pizza in
question.
Yeah.
Well,
You have a question?
A
By
big
all means.
question.
you got it.
Very
All
little.
the minutia surrounding
Full
Shabbos,
It's whole fine. No.
Yeah, fine, okay, I'm listening to the question.
all the minutia surrounding
Inflation,
Shabbos.
tell them.
I didn't eat
The
it. I
original
pulled it away.
commandment was thou shalt not work
give it for
or any
him.
kind of work.
Yes.
Right.
How does these little things
How do you know I'm first?
fit in as work?
How do they fit in as work? Brad, you want to take a shot at that?
There's 39 works that people could do on Shabbat, such as planting, such as reaping, such as all these things. And if you allow people to do these small, minute things, what happens is that somebody else sees you do it, and they're going to do a deeper thing. and that guy's going to do a deeper sin. So we prevent you from doing any of these
It's
problems
slippery slope.
by telling you separating things, don't separate.
But where do these forms of work derive from? Do you know
The
that?
Torah tells us separating is considered work.
Why do we pick these
Picking
39
is
things?
considered
that-
work. Picking only what you want and nothing else is considered work. These are work. But if you do
I
it,
really don't know.
if you only take what you want, that's fine. If you
When
only,
they built something called the Mishkan, right? That's where they put the 10 Commandments, and they traveled around the desert. It was like a hut kind of thing, covered with skins and made from metal poles,
When we were in the desert, the
gold
first
and
temple that we
silver, and it's all described in the Torah very explicitly. Like the question was, why does it take like one page of the Torah to describe how God created the whole world? Whereas it takes pages and pages of Mishkan description to describe how this Mishkan was built.
it just
by
should have
man.
said God said to build a Mishkan, and that's it. Why do they have to go through every single detail by inch and by
Yeah, whereas the
Exactly
world,
how
it
they
takes
did
one
it.
page. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
He didn't go
Right?
through
Created
detail.
this and this thing. Why is that so short and the other one
Maybe
takes
some of that
long?
ketchup.
It's because for a God to do something for us, it's no problem. For us to do something right for God, for Hashem, that takes. That man just wrecked his hand. Video. It was exciting. Taking away a soft or unsightly spot from a fruit is a question of borer, because the brown spot is pasolis, meaning you don't want it. Puzzle, it's pasolis, right? So you want to trim it, but if you do it, that's called sorting. You're taking. Brad man needs attention.
He just drank, don't worry.
Anyway, so the
Okay.
point is, wait, let me just finish what you were saying. Basically, there's a Mishkan, right? God tells you exactly how to build it. So anything God tells you, that's how you build, that's how you work. We know those are the laws that we're not allowed to do on Shabbat. So whatever the Torah explains how to build a temple, we cannot do on Shabbat, basically. So when He tells you to tan the skin
And
and to
that's
hang
where
up the
from all this
skin
book came.
and to plant the trees in order to have special trees to build a temple, all these things, we understand we can't do any of those things. And then there's a little extra things that we add in order to prevent you from doing those things. So anything to do with planting or baking or cooking, we don't do on Shabbat. And so one of those things is to separate. Like
Sort.
To sort. Sorting. If we were allowed sorting, women would be separating laundry the whole Shabbat. And they wouldn't be enjoying Shabbat. Could you imagine having to separate white and black the whole Shabbat?
Don't touch a tree.
On a different level, Hashem wants us to be completely removed from the physical world.
No trees.
No tree.
No tree.
We elevate the physical world by removing ourselves from it for 24 hours and not doing those forms of work.
That's it.
All right, so this banana that we're still working on. To cleanly separate the spoiled part of the fruit would be equivalent to removing pasolis from oichel, meaning the bad from the good, which does not comply with the three conditions of borer. As will be explained later, however, there are permissible ways of removing the pasolis without the need to comply with the three conditions. Anybody still with me?
Yeah, Yudaleb Greenwald's watching the whole share.
Greenwald, get over here. We need your phone.
No, he's working now. You take out the fish bones on Shabbat.
Right.
You allow it for immediate use. Pork?
But you're taking the bone right out of the fish, right?
He's separating the bad from the good.
That's the second condition that you're not allowed to do in this particular
Now
form
Now,
of
let's
work.
separate the
You
bad
You
from
can take
good.
the
So how do you do
fish
it?
from the bone, but you can't take the bone from the fish.
Ah, you see how you do it?
No, you allow it for.
You can take the fish that you want, but you
No,
can't eat
no,
picking out
you
the
know,
bone.
Comes Shabbos, you're not allowed to breathe.
No, you're allowed to.
You're disconnected, Rat.
On YouTube yet, anyways.
Nobody
Nobody
knows.
knows.
So here we go. Boning chicken or fish on Shabbos. A serious question of borer. Borer means sorting, because doing so constitutes the removal of pasoilis, the bad, from oichel, the good. However, for some people, children, eating fish before the bones are removed is quite difficult.
That's true.
Fortunately, this and many other problems can be solved by utilizing alternatives that circumvent the malacha of bora completely. In this context, the term circumvent the factors premise of the malacha. There are primarily three methods of circumventing bora. Here they are. 1. Unmixing the mixture or combination. 2. Removing good together with bad. You get this? This is it. Selecting while eating. Derech achila. Did anything get into your heads with that statement?
Basically, just do it a different way.
How much flew over? Not just any different way.
Oh, the right different way.
If you eat the fish, you take the
Well,
fish with the
different way.
bones and put it in your mouth. You can take the bones out of your mouth.
Yeah, because you don't need it in your mouth.
Okay? You're taking both at the same time.
So how do you do it for a kid again?
You didn't say that, but
You could take your food from mouse to give to the kid.
No, you just take the fish off the bones and give it to him. You don't take the bones off the fish. You take the fish off the bones.
right. Well, okay.
'Cause
So
you
that's
need
it.
Whatever you want, you can have. You cannot specifically separate. But if you need something, you're allowed to take it.
All right. So, unmixing the mixture. Here's the first one. Unmixing the mixture. As previously explained, the malacha of bora is only possible where there is a mixture of two types. The basic premise of bora. It follows that if one unmixes the mixture or combination by, for example, disentangling or scattering the mingled items indiscriminately, he effectively eliminates the basic elements of bora completely. Sorting or selecting would then be permissible regardless of what is being removed or how far in advance the sorting is being done. So, okay, the following are examples of problems that can be obviated conveniently in this manner. First problem. A woman wishes to organize assorted silverware in order to A. Put them in their separate drawer compartments, or B. Set the table for a much later meal. In both of these situations, she will not be using the sorted items right away. Hence, the condition of miyad is absent. Solution. She may take a few of the assorted pieces of silverware and spread them out on the table, thereby separating them. Once they are separated or unmixed, they are not on top or closely positioned in between one another. There is no longer any question of borer. Did you get that?
Yeah.
You take that rack of silverware, you spread it out on the table, no more borer. Things aren't mixed up anymore. You eliminate the mixture.
What do you mean? It's still mixed.
No, they're separated from each other.
Ah.
They're not on top of each other. See? So then she can go to shul. She doesn't,
That's it.
Okay. Silverware and spread them out on a table, thereby separating. Once they are separated or unmixed, they're not on top of each other or closely positioned in between one another, there is no longer any question of borer. Number 2. One wishes to sort black and white chess or checker pieces and store them in their separate compartments for later use. What happens if, nittel knot falls out on Shabbos?
So then, what about it?
Can you play chess? Has that ever fallen out on Shabbos?
I think we push it off so it should be on Shabbat.
Well, the problem is you would have a chessboard and you'd have to sort out the pieces.
You also probably could spread it over.
Exactly. Spread them out.
Some seltzer?
You know how to spread on Shabbat?
Some seltzer?
Yeah, you are. That's how you get out of it.
So you just spread them
Take the
out.
chessboard and go like that and spread out everything,
So
and
then
then they're
you're
all
not-
separated.
So then you're not picking and choosing, right?
Right.
They just spread out.
That's
You just
right.
go like this, then they're all separate.
So what you
You're
do
not
is
picking
you.
what you want.
Here's how he said.
Choosing. They're all out already.
He said one may spread a handful of them on the table to separate them and effectively unmix them.
Ah.
Storing them in their separate compartments for later use would no longer be a question of borer and would therefore be permissible. Okay, that's with chess pieces. Other games might have other problems.
And you're not
Okay.
supposed to play Monopoly on Shabbos because you gotta count money the whole time.
Is it money?
Kidding.
No, you're just kidding.
You might
So,
have to start writing
Did
down
you get that?
acronym.
Did that register? I know this used to be called the ADD share, but now we're going to call it the DDA share.
Or the DIY share.
Thing is, I forgot what that meant, but it's the opposite of ADD. Okay.
Overly exciting share.
Okay, now that was the first problem. The first problem is you eliminate the mixture, so you don't have any problem with borer. So unmixing. Second way, removing bad together with the good. The malacha of borer is a concept of purifying one or both elements in a mixture. At the very least, this entails isolating one or more elements of a mixture. It follows, therefore, that borer can only be transgressed when one of the types is being isolated and removed from its mixture with other types. Where a type is merely being removed but not isolated from the mixture, an act of borer does not occur. Therefore, one who removes the combination of both types of the mixture, bad with some good, is merely removing items from a mixture, but is not isolating or purifying any part of the mixture. This selection is therefore permitted. Did you get that?
Yes.
Wait. If you separated your opponent's chess pieces from yours, it's still within the same board, and obviously during the game they're going to be mixed on either side. Would that be counted as isolation, or because they're still in the same board, you didn't?
So the isolation is when they're all piled up together. No, the mixture is first of all when they're all piled. Like,
Let's say they'll say the pile was on the board, and then you separate it out. Their side, my side. We're about to start the game, but it's still within the board. Because it's on the board, the play area, would that still be counted as sorting? Because it's all still in the
well,
same
how would you do
container.
it? How would you do it?
Like a chess game, their side and my side.
Okay,
You know, you line
but
up
so
the
I'm
rows.
trying to picture. Here's the chess game. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Avi's here. So let's assume that some of these are black, right?
Yeah.
So they're all mixed up. Right now it's borer. You take this one out, it's borer. If it's black, if you
Not
want.
out. I sort them. I put them on their side. So the fork's on that side, the spoon's on this side, but they're still on the plate. Would you count that as isolating?
No. How did you sort them? How did you sort them?
What do you mean?
Well, you got here. These are black and white, right?
Okay.
So how did you take the black and whites to one place?
To the respective spots, like the pawns in front, like an actual chess game.
So you're. That's not a
There's a
question.
board, and all the pieces.
Here's
are
the
just
board.
randomly there.
You take all the pieces, come like that.
Yes?
Yes. And then.
Now what do you do?
I slid them over the ones that ought to be on my side to my side.
How did you do that without separating?
Black from the white.
Sorting.
But you said if it's in isolation.
No, it's
You isolate one
a
from the
verb. You're isolating.
Yeah, but if it's
If
within
you
the
take
same
this
page,
one
you call
out,
it
you take this
isolating.
black one, you are isolating it.
Yes.
You get it?
Well,
But if
could
you
do-
go like this, just like that, you're not doing anything. You know,
Yeah,
you're not
just
taking
push-
any particular
push
one
the blacks to
out.
the side, push the whites to the side.
You're just pushing them like
But you're
that.
not taking them out.
You're separating them all from each other, so you can just pick out a white one, right?
But they're all separated already.
You separated them. You didn't isolate
And they can stay on
anyone
the
in
board still.
particular.
You go. Look, this is what you do. On the board, and then you take out the black ones. Take out the white ones.
I can play chess. I can play chess, no problem.
You're not taking out the queen. Okay, the queen goes here. Okay, the king. There's the king. Okay, this is the knight.
But I would eventually have to do that. But after you
Spread
already
it,
spread
somebody
them.
spread it, somebody spread it.
Spread them out so you can. So they're not isolated from
They're not touching
all
each
of
other.
them,
They're
but
not touching each
okay.
other. They're completely.
they're not
separate.
mixed.
Well, okay, that's good. But the isolation.
The
Isolation is a problem. When you take individually
isolation
one
is
out
when
of the
you
whole
take
pile and say,
one
this is
out,
the one I
right.
want. Out of the whole pile, you're picking. It's called picking.
Okay.
You don't want to pick
Sorting.
the
My
pile.
question is slightly different.
You don't want to sort
The
it.
board
That's
is not a
what
good
you want.
example because now that
Sort it,
I kind of
yeah.
talked through it, I realized
Sort
that it doesn't work on
Because you don't want the other one.
It would be better, I think, if you took them
Same
off
with
the
the
board
grades.
and spread them out on
What
the
do you
table.
want?
No,
and
no,
then
no.
pick them.
There's an isolation question
You separate
that
them.
it hasn't come
That's the
across to
cookie.
you two, but
Yeah.
it's not good.
That's what you
But if you take a piece and put it on its spot, that's isolating it?
Sifting?
The gold.
It's good. It's not. No, it's not that. It's
That's
a
the
little
same thing.
deeper and it's kind of only my
Okay,
head
so
right
try
now.
to get me.
That's picking.
It's not. I can't come up with an example. I have to think on
The
it.
gravel form.
Yeah, he's asking if what you're saying is true. Why can't he mine for gold on Shabbos?
Why can't
Because
you
by shaking the
mind
pan,
it?
by shaking the pan, the sand goes to one side and the gold comes up
By your gravity, not by your
by
own.
gravity.
Да, fine.
Just by shaking it. So you're saying if you just shake it, it's enough?
Oh, well, so far that's what he said.
So I could.
If you separate them,
So you can mine for gold?
Well, it
That feels
depends.
different. It feels different. It's indirect, I'll give you that, but it feels different. More.
First of all, the rocks that you're taking out are muksa. The gold is muksa.
Everything you can't touch.
Yeah, you,
Gold is
you
muksa?
can't touch it on Shabbos.
If it's,
you
if
don't
it's,
need it.
If it's not, it's not.
What are you gonna do
jewelry,
with
if it's
gold on
non-gold
Shabbos?
jewelry,
Whatever's money is
Money can't
What
touch
if I wanna
Shabbos.
play?
Money.
Just play with
We don't touch money on Shabbos.
One
'cause
second,
then
I
you might
have
have
pieces of gold, I just wanna play with them.
Yeah, but we don't want to have.
As
Well,
a kid,
you'd have to
whatever.
designate them before Shabbos,
Shabbos
mind
is-
over
Shabbos
matter,
is a
that
work.
this is your new
Shabbos, we don't
toy.
want it to be a day of shopping.
Okay.
You can do that with anything.
Everything
rock.
here is my new toy. Come.
Except it's for
This is my new
celebration.
toy.
Right. Yeah, you have to, before Shabbos, you say, I'm designating this rock is not
Right?
muksa.
And then you say, I'm sorry, Rabbi. Goodbye. Can't give them
Get that?
Yes, I do. I
Right?
did.
All right.
And then I was like,
So that's what we have to do.
all right.
Okay.
I'm down.
The isolation. It's the whole thing of isolating one thing. You're purifying it from the mess over there. You take that and it's, Okay. Example, a fly in a drink. Is that a good example?
In your drink.
Did you get that? What would you do if you had a fly in your drink?
You fly in.
You go like that, right? No. What?
Would you pick out the bug
I'm
specifically
very
from your
picky. I
drink?
thought you could
But
go.
would you take the bug out, put it in the garbage, and then drink the rest? That'd be picking. That'd be sorting on Shabbos.
Okay.
Sorry.
Taking it back.
So how do you get that bug out of your drink if you still want to drink after a bug?
Pour most
flew
of it into another cup and leave the bug on the bottom with some liquid.
That's a good idea.
Could use it.
You could just pick up it
With some liquid together. He's right. You
That's
can take
what I
a
was
teaspoon
thinking.
with some
With
liquid
little bit
together.
left
You know
over,
when you're
yeah.
eating the soup?
Yeah.
So you take one spoonful with some liquid together and then take it out. Because you're not just taking the bug, you're taking the liquid too.
Because you're
Right.
taking bad and good at the same time. You're not
That's a good
selecting
idea.
out the good or the bad from it.
Because you're not taking the bad,
Wait,
you're
so if you're
taking some
taking
juice
out
with it.
multiple bad
Right.
does it
That
count?
makes sense.
Taking out.
If you're taking out multiple, because
But you're taking the juice with it.
bug and he doesn't want the juice.
No, you either want
So unless
to.
double bads cancel out and it's okay.
What's the bad about the juice?
Drink the
Fly
juice.
in it.
No, so
Well, then if you don't want the juice, you just chuck the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
I think the only option is to check the whole thing. I don't think you can do the spoon thing because that's sorting out.
No, but then you
liquid
don't want the juice, so what would you bother with it for?
Huh?
If you don't want the juice because the bug's in it, you're not going to want to bother with it at all.
So different examples needed.
But let's say the thing is you want the juice. It's your $1,000 bottle of mashka that you just bought.
I think you're stuck.
No, you can get the bug out.
But you would have to take liquid out, and that would, to me, that would feel like sorting liquid that you don't want from liquid you do want.
Well, which liquid don't you want?
The one that, for whatever reason, you deemed was close enough to the bug that you would take it out with. Whereas the liquid at the bottom somehow was clean in your
All right, he might answer
Probably
that.
not.
Let's see if he answers that. A fly in a drink. One may spoon out or pour off some of the liquid together with the fly. You get it? You can, if the fly's here, you can pour off liquid with the fly at the same time. So would that cover the liquid you don't want? It's close to the bug.
Hey, I'll take the leniency. I'll go with him.
Well, that's how you do it. That's how you avoid it. Why? Because he is removing a mixture of types rather than a single isolated type from the mix.
There you go. So multiple.
This is permitted even though the remaining liquid is purified, fly-free. Refer to Hebrew
Fly-free.
source notes. Okay.
So it's like the tree. If you're one step off, it's okay. Whereas if you're only, it's indirect. You remember, like you can't touch the nail that's on the tree, but you can touch the pail on the nail.
it's indirect. Let's say
Like
my
that.
coat is
Yeah.
on the tree, on a nail that's on the
I
tree.
can touch the coat.
I can touch the
the
coat.
What was that called? I can't remember.
So if it's by third party, it's not a problem. It's by third
That
party.
is a special name.
If I'm holding a glove and the glove is holding the spoon, can I remove something from the thing?
If I steal from a thief, that's okay. No.
Yes.
Here, this is
Not the
close.
same
I think this
as
is closer to what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
this is closing.
There are undesired noodles or rice in soup.
The what?
All right.
Undesired noodles or rice.
What time is it?
You have to go? Don't go yet. We're almost done.
9/11.
No, I'm not leaving.
It's 9/11. We have to have a Rad Man intermediate
I don't know.
That's true,
Okay,
that's
I
true.
gotta wait till
Break.
10. I'm good.
Story.
Put it back.
break us up. Give us a story, Rad.
By the way, 9/11
Oh, Iraqi noodles.
I gotta call it
Muslim
So we just heard the wonderful news how we could enjoy the Shabbat without suffering. A lot of people just think, don't eat anything on Shabbat, don't do anything on Shabbat. No, we're teaching you. You can do everything on Shabbat. Just do it right. Huh?
That's it.
When a person thinks in life, a person thinks that he can't do anything, he's not going to accomplish nothing. When a person's depressed all the time, he's not going to accomplish anything. But when you hear Rabbi Freeman's shir, you could accomplish everything in life. You could do everything in life. And you could be motivated to motivate others in life. And how do we do that? There's a story from the Gemara, the Talmud, that it says, that the Gemara starts off with a story of a person. There's no such thing as great or low. And we spent a whole Talmud book speaking about how this is Moshe Aaron, he's a new member of the Shir, as well as Robert Rubin, Robert Eli.
Not too much.
Robert Eli, say something.
Baruch Hashem. It's good to be back in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York.
He was in Los Angeles, man.
I was in Los Angeles.
And he met Bill Gates. The richest guy in Los Angeles.
Best I could, but I'm
Yes.
back here in Crown Heights where I love all my fellow Indians.
That's it, we're happy to see you back. And
I love all my friends.
Yeah. Welcome back, Ruben. The Shir was nothing without you.
Baruch Hashem.
And now we're going back to Robert
Also
Freeman.
with you, Chaim Hill. Rabbi Yehuda Freeman.
All right.
To top it off.
We gotta validate each other every once in a while.
That's it, give some covet, man. Otherwise, nobody wants to do a Shir.
All right.
Back to the noodles?
So how do you get the noodles and the rice out of the soup?
Oh, you want to hear this? What if I don't want noodles?
You just there's some noodles and rice in your soup,
I can
and
just
you
drink
don't
this-
want them.
I can just drink the liquid out.
No, you could just take
You
another
can do
cup.
that.
You could take another cup and separate. Just leave some of the liquid in first cup.
Let's hear what
He
the book
says
says.
one may spoon out the noodles or rice together with some soup.
Together, that's what
With a little bit of
same
liquid.
story.
Then you're not separating because liquid's going with it.
Here's another one.
First of all, I'm sure all the noodles has a little liquid in it anyways.
Yeah.
Weren't there some in
Here's
there?
another
Oh.
one.
Half one, you can have the other half.
Noodles have.
Why'd you put those in
Wet.
That's from
There is an undesired oil on soup. You got a soup with undesired oil on it. One
yeah.
may skim off all the oil by spooning it out together with some soup.
Yep.
One may also skim off oil without any soup. If care is taken to leave some oil remaining, this is different.
So
This is
as long
permitted
as there's
because the
some
top
left.
surface.
Sell big bottles of oil. Just put a half water on the bottom, and nobody will know the difference. Oil will flow to the top.
Okay, what if there's cream formed on top of milk?
That's what they do, by the way.
Cream on top of milk, whether you want it or not. One may spoon out the cream together with some milk. Or the cream itself, even without any milk, may be spooned out if some cream is left on to remain on the milk. In other words, you can't just scoop it off enough to not get into the milk. Okay, skimming off the cream entirely from the milk without removing some of the milk together with the cream is never permitted. This holds true even if the cream is desired and even if it is meant for immediate use, because the spoon is considered a kli. Ah, you're using a spoon. That's a new thing. You just threw that in to motivate us to learn more.
Absolutely.
Huh? Okay, here's another one. Seeds in melons, cantaloupes, honeydew. One may remove the seeds by cutting away a thin slice of melon from the seeds. So you cut. You know what that you got that.
Chaim Hill.
You cut away a little piece of melon with the seeds that you want to take off. Okay. Apple core. Okay. You can core an apple. It may be used because apple is taken along with the core. Get it?
No.
You got an apple. You don't want the core.
Okay, so I can
Can
eat
you use
around
an
it.
apple core?
You eat around the apple core.
Yeah, but what if you just want to
You
get
wanna
rid
cut
of
out
that
the-
core?
So what do you do?
You can core it out because it's got apple on it.
Oh, that's true. It's always gonna be a little bit of apple left. You see, you don't have to be so hard on Shabbos. People think it's so hard to keep Shabbos.
Well,
They just gotta learn how to do it.
All right, we're moving right along.
Anything else we did.
Most things you can probably do, you just have to learn how to do. People learn how to walk eventually.
All right, next topic says removing pasoilus from a mixture. Pasoilus is what you don't want, the bad.
Texas?
Removing just the pasoilus, the bad from a mixture, is always prohibited, even if some of it is still left remaining in the mixture. Both good and bad elements remain in the mixture. Example, one may not remove undesired rice or noodles from soup, even if some of the rice or noodles are left in the remainder of the soup. You gotta take some soup out with those noodles. 2, one may not remove some of the spoiled grapes or cherries in a bowl, even if more spoiled ones are still left in the bowl. B, defining isolation and purification of mixtures. It has been stated earlier that borer entails isolating and thereby purifying one or more elements of a mixture, and that borer can therefore only be transgressed when one of the elements is being isolated and removed from its mixture with other types of elements. It is important to understand that an object or substance need not be totally free of other elements in the mixture to be considered isolated in the context of borer. Minute particles or droplets of mixture are generally too insignificant to be part of a mixture. This has important implications for the principle of removing bad with good. For example, taking out a crumb or foreign particle such as a hair from a drink is regarded as an exclusive isolation of the item itself. Get that? Take out that crumb or the hair from the drink. That's exclusive isolation. The fact that the crumb absorbed a tiny amount of liquid or that moisture from the drink continues to adhere to the particle, thus also being removed as well, does not define this as the removal of a mixture of bad with good, but rather is an isolation of the particle itself. In other words, you said a noodle has water in it, or soup in it, right? Brad?
Yeah.
You still here?
Still there.
Brad's meditating. All right, this is called the cell phone.
Everybody's on the cell phone.
You can't take the noodle out because you think that it's wet with soup.
I was just checking shit.
That is pure isolation.
So you're saying that the noodles that are wet don't have soup inside of them?
They do, but that doesn't count.
Ah, so I was wrong.
You actually have
Still gotta get a
to.
little
You have
bit
to
of
take
liquid
some
with
soup with that noodle.
Oh.
One may therefore remove a substantial amount of good with bad. You must. You have to take a lot of good out with that bad. Or vice versa to avoid borer, because as explained, where the amount of good is minute and insignificant by comparison to the bad, only the bad is regarded as being removed. There's the point. If you're taking out an insignificant amount of good with the bad, it doesn't work. You have to take out. It has to look like you're taking out good with bad. All right.
Not bad with good, good with bad.
No, both. When you're.
The idea is that good is always first, never bad.
No. If
The idea is never to take bad first. That's the idea.
no, the
Every
idea
single
is not
thing
to
you
take
say.
bad out by itself.
That's what I'm trying to say. It always has to have some good with it.
Right, but if you say that noodle
Right,
is
so
wet
have
with
to have
soup, I'll
good
just
with
take the
bad.
noodle out.
Take it out.
What?
You're not Yopsy.
Ah, yeah. I was thinking about that.
No, you
I
gotta
was about to do
gotta take some good with it, more good.
That's
Why do
it.
you take more good with the bad?
Because if you always
Because
take
it
bad,
looks
you want
like
bad.
you're just taking out the noodle.
Right, you're taking the bad out. So you want to take the good part out.
Gotta take enough good out to make it look
Take a
like you're
drop of
taking
good.
both out.
Right.
At least a drop of good.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All right. Examples.
And don't expect there should be a little bit with noodles.
Here's examples. Removing a hair from soup with the handle of a spoon or with tweezers is prohibited, even though minute soup droplets inevitably cling to the hair even after its removal. This is considered a full-fledged isolation of the hair itself from the liquid. It is not classified as removing good with bad because the soup or the hair the soup on the hair is minute and insignificant. There, can't say it better myself. Peeling fruits or vegetables, apples, cucumbers, is an act of borer and permitted only for immediate use. This holds true even though some of the fruit and vegetable itself is invariably removed along with the peel. The peeling is still not classified as the removal of good with bad because the fruit still remaining on the peel is negligible and ordinarily discarded with the peel. Well, we'll explain in a minute. It is therefore logically nullified and considered part of the peel. You made it into this chapter too.
Oh, famous guy.
Part of the solus. This is, however, permitted for immediate use, as pointed out above. That was important. What was your question, now, Colin? What does classified mean?
Classified
You were
as
saying that you said.
Okay, you could peel a cucumber and eat it immediately.
Right.
But if you're peeling it, and you know there's still good cucumber on the peel, but that's not considered. That would be borer if you didn't eat it immediately. right?
You can't say since when I peeled, there's some cucumbers on the peel a little bit.
Yeah.
That's considered not separating.
It
It's still
does.
considered separating because you're planning to eat. Planning to eat this way later. You're not planning to eat this right now.
If you ate it right
tonight.
now, it'd be okay. There's
Yeah.
3 rules. Right.
You're not preparing for later. If you're preparing on Shabbat for later, that's a problem also.
Why is that?
Because we don't prepare on Shabbat. That's working. When you're preparing it for a few hours from now for the big feast, that's preparing on Shabbat. If you're preparing for the meal that's happening right now, that's fine. The meal is going to happen in half an hour, that's okay. If you're doing it like in the morning for the afternoon, that's not okay.
All right, let's move it along. Derech achila. Anybody know what that means? $1 million question. Not you, because you know.
What's it mean?
Derech achila.
Akila.
Achila.
Ahila.
Anybody know? It means
The way of the samurai.
it means the way of eating.
The way of
Derech, the way
the correct
achila,
way of
eating. More or less, it's just the way you eat things. It's normal. Okay, but if you want to do selecting through eating, you like if you put the fish in your mouth and you take the bones out. That's what we're going to talk about now. Selecting while eating. As a rule, the act of eating in itself can never be classified as a malacha on Shabbos. This kind of exemption is generally known as derech achila, which means the eating process. You're normally eating something. And once it's in your mouth, you're past borer and all that. Yep. Example. Chewing food on Shabbos is not the malacha of toichin, grinding. That's a new one. We didn't study that yet. Even though the food becomes crushed in the process. Some poskim permit cutting and eating a cake with letters iced on it for this reason. This concept is, that's the Taz who does that. This concept also applies to the malacha of borer. Therefore, any selection that is a direct part of the eating process is not considered borer and is permitted.
So you're saying you're allowed to even eat letters on Shabbos?
That's what the Taz says.
So like if you want to have ABC alphabet soup, that's okay according
Taz says it's okay. Do we hold by the Taz? That's another
to...
question.
No, I mean we try to get non-written cakes on Shabbat.
Wait a minute, if it's ABCs, who cares? It's a made up alphabet.
I'm saying if somebody writes happy birthday on the cake, we try not to use those on
Yeah,
Shabbos.
it's not even real text.
Because when we cut it, we're
It's not
cutting a
Hebrew,
letter.
it's not real text.
You
Of course
could
it is.
separately cut.
Your text. Your text.
This is made up gibberish.
You
It's not
could
even-
cut
it didn't
whole
say anything.
thing.
It's a real language.
You could
No,
pack,
no, no.
It's real.
take
No.
out whole
It's not
thing,
Hebrew,
cut
it's
whole
not
thing, and
Read the happy
use
song.
the rest.
I'll chew all the squiggles I want.
All right.
Just
There are
squiggles.
two basic categories of derech achila, the process of eating in the malacha of borer. Bashas achila, removal of bad during eating. Removal of bad just prior to the eating. Just before you eat it, you take out the
Oh, it's
bone.
fine. Looks nice.
Okay, b'shas achila, removal of the bad during actual eating. The term b'shas achila
Give me a scissor.
means during eating. This refers to the removal of the bad during the actual eating process. Just before ingesting the food, removal of the bad while actually eating it is a clear form of derech achila and is permitted.
Yay.
All right.
Eat it.
Examples. Tiny particles of tea leaves or other undesirable matter are floating in one's glass of tea or coffee. He may place a handkerchief to his lips and strain the tea or coffee.
Gotta have this.
2. Expelling watermelon seeds from one's mouth. Remove seeds by hand, even just prior to eating. One more topic here. Miyad lepeh, from hand to mouth. The term miyad lepeh.
I lost connection over here.
Term miyad lepeh literally means from hand to mouth. This refers to the removal of the pasolis, the stuff you don't want from the food during the meal, i.e. when the food is on one's plate in front of him. Miyad lepeh is different from b'shas achila, described earlier, in that the selection and removal of pasolis is not taking place during the actual eating process, but is rather being done during the meal as the food is being prepared to be brought to one's mouth. The principle of miyad lepeh is not a small child cannot eat this food safely or without great difficulty unless it is boned. 2. Removing plum pits just before eating them is permitted because expelling the pits from one's mouth is considered difficult. And that ends the chapter that we learned tonight, folks. It's the 3rd chapter of Bora. We just finished it in one shot. And that's the end of the shir tonight, except for Radman is going to stay tuned next week.
Everybody, please refurbish, repost, enjoy. This is the most awesome class of the year. We have Robert Rubin himself going nervous right behind me. We got the invisible holy man on the other side. And everybody's invited next week, 8:30. Tune in, tell all your friends. There's a miracle story that happened this week. Instead of focusing on all the negativity, we should look at the positivity. Out of the thousands of missiles that were thrown on Israel, not one Jew died. Think about that. Out of the thousands of missiles. One missile falls on Syria, 100,000 people die. One missile kills 100,000 people. Nobody died in Israel. Do you know the miracle? Do you see God's revelation over there? Wow. This lady, this little girl, had cancer in her brain. What happened? The doctors did x-rays and they don't see nothing there. They said, what the heck happened? It's a miracle. People have to realize there's miracles happening every second of your life. You woke up this morning, that's a miracle. I thank God for that. You walk down the street, that's a miracle. You could have get hit by the car 100 times. Don't live like that. I see people live like that. Oh, I almost got killed. No, I didn't get killed. No, I breathed too hard. No. Okay, don't live like that. But I'm saying every part of your life is a miracle. So continue growing. Post the share the share, share the share, and share. It sounds the same. So keep up the good work.
Israel, keep Shabbos.
You want to help out Israel? Keep Shabbos.
Keep Shabbos, it increases the size of the land.